We're live. Jett, here we are. Almost an emotional episode. Probably the most emotional episode so far. We just came out of the Franklin versus Ravenwood playoff game that ended not going our way. So it was the last game of the season. But man, the first thing that comes to mind is what a great season these seniors allowed us to be a part and watch and the journey. Jett,
Yep.
I want to. I don't even think I need to do an intro before I want to talk about these boys.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it's been about all season. And like you said, so proud of these guys and the season they were able to put forward, getting the first playoff win for Franklin in 4 years.
That's right.
Turning us around from the laughing stock of Williamson County
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
team that competes and a team that nobody wants to play. So
I
so
mean,
proud of these boys and everything they accomplished and all the hard work that they put in. And I'm glad that they got to really get some benefit, taste some good from all that
yes,
hard work. So like you
exactly.
said, I mean things didn't go our way tonight. That's football. That's life. It happens. But it doesn't change the way I feel about these boys and this team.
Completely agree. We're gonna do a normal Friday Night Lights on air episode right here, doing a quick recap of the Ravenwood game. But as Jett and I were talking, we kind of decided, hey, for as good of a season these boys had, they deserve a full season recap episode. So we're gonna be
Yep.
back in the studio middle of next week. For a full season recap episode to kind of give the boys what they deserve and kind of talk about them, and the great season that they had. So,
Yeah, absolutely,
um,
and it's definitely going to be an episode where we celebrate the season that
absolutely,
we got to have, and
exactly.
look back on some great memories, some great moments from the season. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that episode. It'll be good.
Absolutely. I can't wait. It's always good knowing we're filming an episode when we have producer Chuck right in our corner,
Yeah, 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 for
so
sure.
in the studio. So, real quick to get into the Ravenwood game, great atmosphere. I felt like the students brought it tonight and everything. They were making a lot of noise early. We actually win the toss and get the ball first, Jett, and we drive down the field. Brewer hit some impressive check downs to Sean Gaka, who we end up driving the ball pretty much down the field, but I think we stall out, end up punting the ball away. Ravenwood gets the ball first, but honestly, on that first drive, I'm still feeling good, even though we didn't come away with points because of how I felt like at first Brewer was really seeing the field and feeling like any receiver could get the ball at any moment.
Right, and I think you said something it sounds wrong, but it's true. Impressive checkdowns, and
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
we knew that they were going to be able to get pressure on us. I mean, um, coming into the game. So
Hmm.
props to Brewer for being able to find his check down. Props to Sean for making sure Brewer found him getting upfield. That was definitely something that early on was working for us. And then I mean, at the end of the day, it came down to what's been our kryptonite the entire season with protection and penalties. And it's something when you play
Exactly,
a team like Ravenwood, you can't avoid, you can't hide it, like
exactly.
you
Yeah.
can against some other teams that we've played this year. So yeah, it just when you get backed up, when you get behind the sticks, it's really hard to convert against a team like that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about both two things you mentioned. One about the checkdowns. Yes, that is kind of sounds like an oxymoron saying very impressive checkdowns,
Yeah,
but right, because no check down is going to make the TikTok highlight reel. You know what I mean? It's not going to make the huddle
right.
highlights. But for those who really know ball, having those check downs is really true quarterback play because that shows you how much of the progression he went through to get to
Right.
that check down, which means
Right.
he's playing the position well. We had the D3, Jed, we played D3, didn't we? We played Division 3.
Absolutely proud.
Proud to be it. But the D3 Heisman is called the Gagliardi. And our receivers coach, one of my years, who was a former running backs, will say, as a quarterback, check downs will win you a Gagliardi.
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
so
And my
and
my DC my DC in college too. He would get so mad in the film room if any linebacker stepped up and guarded the check down.
right,
The
yeah,
linebackers would be like, "Man, we're leaving him wide open," and he was like,
yeah,
"Guys, I know if a team checked it down against us every play, they would crush us.
yeah,
It's just not something that
yeah.
teams utilize a lot. But
Yeah.
so I mean,
So
it was definitely something that got us going early.
Absolutely, but to your point about the protection, right? Obviously, we know we've talked about penalties kind of all year. We can kind of always talk about that because it's 100% true. But the protection, we knew going into it. What did we say in the preview episode? It's like they're going to bring pressure, right? Like Ravenwood's going to bring pressure because that's what they did in the first game, and so we knew that protection was going to be an important thing because that's where it all starts, right? It all starts up front, and no matter what route combination you do, no matter how good the throw is or anything, it never even gets to that point unless the protection is set straight. And so we punt the ball to Ravenwood, and they come out and they really, I feel like they kept it very simple on offense. When they found some success in running the ball, they just kept doing it. And I think on the first drive, they drove down and scored a touchdown without even really throwing the ball. They ran the ball with the running back. They ran a lot of quarterback follow, which is kind of like a read option, but not exactly a read option. The quarterback is trying to get the edge. But this time it's almost like an automatic keep, and he kind of fakes the inside zone of the running back, keeps it, and then follows. That's what
Yeah,
they call it.
you get the extra
Follows that
blocker.
guy, extra blocker, to get right up in the middle. But Jett, we're still at the point 7-0. That's how it started in the first game when Ravenwood scored in their first drive to go up 7-0. So even though we gave up that drive, my thought process was, hey, this game is not out of hand. We just got to figure out and make sure we got to bow up on these Q runs.
Absolutely. I mean, you know me.
Yeah.
At halftime, I thought we were going to come back and win. So
Yeah. No. Exactly.
there's
For
never
sure.
a
Yes.
time
Yeah.
where hope's lost in these boys. But yeah, they just ran the ball down our throat. Simple enough. They didn't really have to do too much through the air. Yeah, I mean, their strength is up front on both
Yeah.
sides of the ball. That's
Absolutely.
what you're
Yeah.
going to get with a team like that, in and out every single season. And yet they showed it tonight. They flexed the muscles a little bit.
They did. And so, but Jett, to your point, right, never give up on the boys. And it's very important about how you respond on the ensuing kickoff. Okay, the ball gets in the hands of Mr. Lucas Young, okay, which I think we can officially, we've been calling him 80-20 all season. I think we can officially, after this game, call him 100-0. To your credit, your credit, Jett. Do you agree with that? Do we get,
Absolutely. I
is that
mean,
a
we've been.
unanimous vote that we can just call
It
him?
is 100%. I put that on his little sheet before the game.
Yeah,
Fans
exactly,
vote. But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, we got the pleasure to watch this kid since fifth grade, and I think out
Yeah.
of all the jump balls, all the 50-50 balls we threw him, I don't think there was ever one that was intercepted. And
Exactly,
it
yeah, exactly.
truly was never a 50-50 ball. It was never an 80-20 ball. It was always a Lucas Young 100-0
Exactly.
ball, and
It was an
that's a,
automatic. As we call it
right.
auto. It was an auto catch. It was an auto catch.
Exactly, and yeah,
Automatic.
I'm gonna get emotional if I talk about 15-3 together on the field, and just
Yes.
all the stuff they were
Yes.
able to accomplish over the years. So I won't get into it too much, but
Absolutely. When we were coached,
special
I'll
connection.
give you a little hint. Okay, as one of my strategies as an offensive coordinator with 15-3 was that whenever we were in a bind, I was just like, all right, we're throwing it to Lucas, and then boom, next play. I just already, as soon as I called that play, I was like, we're throwing it to Lucas. It was either a touchdown or I already had the next play in my mind because I just knew it was going to happen.
They paid,
I just
baby.
knew it was. I know it was knew it was going to be 100-0. So
When I coached offense the second year when you were in college,
yeah,
I
yeah,
literally every single 2-point conversion, I had a little whiteboard I would draw the plays on. I literally in front of everyone would be like, write out Lucas fade, and they were all like, yeah, great call,
yeah,
great
that's
call.
about right. That's about right. And so yeah, he makes offensive play callers look really good. And so he gets the ball on special teams, right? All three phases. I thought he was going to house this. He kind of hits a seam on the kick return, and he breaks a couple tackles just with that combination of strength and power that we always talk about. And I love seeing it. We see it on offense all the time. And this is not the first kick return he's housed, right? And so he's housed one prior. And so I love seeing what he shows on offense so much show up on special teams. And he gets us down pretty much instant red zone on about a 75, 80-yard kick return, and now I'm juiced. Talk to me, Jett.
Yeah, I got a nugget about the play before we move on because we all know about the offers. We all know about the guy they got on the other side, and
Yeah.
everyone talks about his speed, state championship, whatever. Lucas was pulling away from him, and talking about a guy that doesn't have any D1 offers and a guy
Yeah,
that's
which
got
is
every
blows
offer
my
out the
mind.
book for what? For speed. What is he showing? I've watched his tape. I don't see it. I just the skill that this kid has, and I could say this about a lot of Franklin guys. We're talking about Lucas right now. It's just speed isn't even his thing. Like
Right,
speed isn't
exactly.
even
That's
like
what's crazy.
he's a
Yeah.
jump ball guy. He's a route
Yes.
guy. Like, and he was pulling away from zero on that run. And man, it's just he's such a special player. I just love watching him play.
Yeah, to your point about having no D1 offers, that blows my mind. If I'm a D1 coach out there recruiting, the name Lucas Young has a star on my coaching office
Yeah,
whiteboard on
it's the
every single
craziest thing.
school. It should
I
be
mean,
every single school across the country should have a star next to his name on that whiteboard.
and you know, recruitment is deeper than just the
It
best
is. It
players
is. We've
getting
gone
offered.
through it. We've
It's
gone
about the
through it.
connections. It's about
Mhm.
there's a politics in it, if you will, and
There's some, yeah. There's
it
some.
is a shame because obviously he gets a lot of attention from us and the Franklin
Yeah,
faithful, the
absolutely.
community that we know, but like he's such a special talent. He deserves so much recognition, and I just hate to see other guys get it
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
not him because I've watched him play against these same
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
for years and years and years, and nobody messes with him.
No,
Nobody
seriously.
messes with three, dude. Like,
No, correct.
and yeah, just a special player.
I love it. We could go on and on about him. I think we
Literally.
could probably talk till the sun rises about him and a lot of other these guys as well, but especially him. And so he gets us to the red zone. To your point, he's pulling away from number one players in the state. And that leads to a good play. We end up with a run play with Sean Gaka. I think this is a great design run play. Big hole. We end up using Ravenwood's leverage against them on the D line, the way they're slanting. We use that against them. End up pulling a guard. Boom. Gaka hits the hole. Ends up scoring a touchdown. And boom. Now we're back. You know what I mean, Jett? Now we're back. Now we're back in it. Here we go. How you
Absolutely.
doing? Keep it moving. And so at this point, I think I felt as confident after we scored Sean's touchdown as I did even before the game. And we both felt confident before the game, Jay. What say you after the touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, we knew 7 points wasn't. We knew it was going to be
Yeah.
a slugfest up in the beginning of the game when it was tight. I'd really like to see us run the ball in there for a touchdown.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of trouble running the ball the last couple of weeks, so it was really good to see the offensive line create that great monster hole for Gak to find it, make a move, get in the box. It was a great little farewell for 5-2.
I love that.
Just having an awesome game. You know,
Yeah, he
we'll
did.
talk about his last touch ever, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just
He did.
it was definitely a good little farewell for 5.
Yes, I completely
And shout
agree.
out to the O line. That was a monster hole.
Great. It was great. I mean, it was beautiful all around. It got me so fired up. I was getting physical in the stands. People think that you're the only one I punch when we're filming the pod. No, no, no. If I see a touchdown, if I get in the stands, there's no telling I'm punching. It's a danger zone wherever we are standing. But on the ensuing kickoff, we decided to kind of float, do a little pooch kick. You know what I mean? And they end up getting a good return off of that, get good field position. But Dr. Defense and his boys, they hold the line a little bit, hold them to a field goal. And I felt really good after giving up the touchdown on Ravenwood's first drive, having them, the old bend don't break when they get really good field position, holding them to a field goal. Because just like I said, we had watched our offense just go put up 7 points. So I'm like, here you go. Here's where we can kind of take the lead. Jett, your thoughts on the defense when we held the Ravenwood Raptors to 3?
Yeah, that was a huge stop from the defense. And anytime that you hold someone to a field goal, it's a win for the defense, especially against a team like that. So yeah, it was a good job by the defense there. I think that they had a little penalty that got them backed up too, gave us a little bit of an
That's right.
advantage, and we didn't see it. I mean, they didn't pass the ball. I mean, they probably completed
Yeah.
2 or 3 passes,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
3 or 4 the entire game.
And even just like we talked about in the preview, Jett. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just want to make
You're
a quick point
good.
before you continue. They tried to get some deep balls. They tried some double moves, and it was either we broke the pass up or we got pressure on them and they tried to scramble. Right? They did what they leaned on. I really like scrambling. The best pass plays that worked for them was the scramble plays, and so
Yeah, I mean they we knew they weren't going to sit back in the pocket,
yeah,
and there's times where we saw that they had some opportunities, and they're just not pocket passers. That's not what they do back there, but they make it work with their legs.
Um, we get the ball back. Okay, our drive kind of stalls, and we end up punting the ball back to them. Okay, still down 10-7, still feeling good. They capitalize on that. There was a good field position. They get more good field position on their punt. That quarterback, they go back to the well. Quarterback runs the ball. They get up 17-7, and Jett, from this point is where I really feel like Ravenwood just really turned it up, both offensively and defensively. Jett, for the rest of the game, their defense played pretty lights out, and then their offense pretty much started to pour it on. Same thing though, a lot of scrambles to your point, a lot of quarterback runs, opportunities where I felt like we got pressure on them, but the quarterback just ended up making a play and would break out of some tackles. Before I get to your point, to our final touchdown of the game and of the season, anything on kind of how the rest of the game went once they got up 17-0 to score?
Yeah, I mean they were just the way that they were running the ball, they were just able to possess. I mean, I would love to know what the time of possession was during that game. We ran 4 plays of offense in the entire second half.
Isn't that crazy? I mean,
It's insane.
that's one of the more wild things. I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if
doesn't
I've ever
even
witnessed
seem
that. It doesn't even
possible.
mathematically make sense. Where our
It
offense,
really
I'm gonna
doesn't.
repeat that. Our offense ran 4 total plays in the second half that I can
Right. But yeah, they were ripping off chunk plays on offense, running the clock, and then they were able to outnumber with the passing attack, and with the strong front four that they had, they were able to get pressure, bringing 4 and drop 7 guys. And it's just a hard. As a coach, as a quarterback, as receivers, there's not a lot of room, and
remember.
there's not a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it kind of just felt like we never, after that, those first 2 or 3 drives of offense, we moved the ball. We got down deep on that first drive.
Mhm.
We got down deep on the third drive too, and then after that, it just never really felt like we got to get things going. It's just the way that they were able to possess the ball, and then shut off our passing attack. We were getting in these third and longs, second and longs. Penalties started to stack up a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's kind of just it was a really hard way to win, a hard way to get positive plays.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
things just stacked up. It stacked up
Yeah, that's
against us.
how.
It wasn't
Yeah,
meant to be tonight, and that's just part
yeah,
of it.
exactly. But what I was proud of is the boys never kept or never stopped fighting. They were going, when their whole thing was like, hey, if we're going down swinging, which I love. Always go down swinging. So much so that part of the reason we only had 4 plays of offense in the second half is because when they scored, they kicked the ball off to us, and number 5 gets the ball in his hands, follows some blockers, almost is just as patient on the kick return
Yeah.
as he is when he's running the ball and he's hitting those holes. He does that. It's almost poetry in motion, artistry, like we call him. We give him Vincent Van Gogh for a reason, right? It's because he's an artist out there. Just so smooth when he sees the openings and everything, and then he pulls away, and we see the second kick return for a touchdown of the season. First one by Mr. 100 and 0, Mr. Lucas Young, and this one by Sean Gaka. To your point, a great farewell by 5. I want your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, Five's another guy that I could sit up here and talk about for
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
How far he has come, from his early years at Franklin, Grassland. He's worked so hard,
Yeah.
and especially as a leader. I mean, he's done such a great job stepping up
Yeah.
and really taking command, and being a senior leader on this team. He's just such an awesome player, and it made me so happy being able to watch him get that moment.
Yeah.
Just the Franklin guy. And I mean, when you hear the last name, you
Yeah.
know exactly what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a dog, a straight dog,
Yes,
a guy, just a
exactly.
football guy, loves his
Yeah.
teammates, loyal to his teammates, will fight to the end. Just the guy that you want on your team. You love him when he's on your team. You hate him when he's on the other team. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we got to watch the progression of Sean Gaka through the years. And if we're gonna talk about this in the post game. I know I'm
Yes, we
getting
will,
emotional,
because we got a lot of players
but
to talk about.
yeah, I was really happy for him that he got a little farewell for the whole Gaka family at
For the whole
Franklin, man.
Gaka
For
family,
the whole
okay?
Gaka family, it was
Jed,
just awesome.
you and I have played with we played with. It started with Alex, right? I played with Alex. I played with Matt my senior year. You played with Matt and Nick,
Hey,
and
I was guarding Alex on scout team too my
that's
freshman
true.
year.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Shaking
there
in my
you go.
cleats, dude. Terrified.
There you
So,
go.
yeah,
There you go. So, and then we both coach Sean. So, like you said, a great farewell. I think to your point, you can notice that with how everybody interacts with Sean, right? About how you just naturally see how when he pops off, how excited the players get, how excited the
yeah,
coaches get, how excited the fans get, right? And so you can kind of see, to your point, all those great characteristics that he has, both on the field and off the field, with about how everybody interacts with him, and it gets a
for
personal
sure,
for him. And just
for sure.
he's a guy where um, he's go to your point. He's a dog. He's going to give 100% every single play. I mean, how many times do we think this season where 99% of players with a specific injury that he had would have been out for the game or even out for
Absolutely.
multiple weeks? I remember watching before the FRA game. He's throwing up over the railing,
Yeah,
and he's go during warmups, and he's still playing. Just a guy like that makes the other players get fired up. Be like, man, if Sean and my teammate, my boy Sean, is willing to put his body on the line for this and sacrifice, then,
absolutely,
then that's what what am I? Who am I? Why don't I should do the same thing, So
absolutely,
that
for sure.
fires you up. But again, he gets kick return, gives us 13 points, and then that's the final score right there. So we end up losing, but man, like I said, going down swinging. And again, I mean, we could sit here till the sun comes up and talk about all these players, but of course, we know that they deserve a full episode of that. So we'll do a full season recap. But we say it all the time, but it's because it's true of just how much fun and how much of a pleasure it's been watching this group of guys.
Absolutely.
And so, Jed, any kind of final thoughts that you want to say, or I don't know if you want to save them all for the recap, the season recap episode, or any final thoughts before we kind of wrap up the Ravenwood recap tonight.
And I love every one of those boys. I'm so proud of them, especially the ones I got to know personally over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna get choked up, dude.
That's all right. You're
I'm
allowed to
gonna
get. This
say
is
it,
a
dude.
safe
I
space. This is a safe
really,
space.
I can't leave this episode with saying how proud I am of 15 too, and
Yeah, of
I am
course.
biased towards him because I get to see the work that he put in. I get to see how much blood, sweat, and tears he put into this game and to this team, and man, just to see his growth over the last couple years. I mean, dude, they made a documentary last year called 22 Games and put his face on it. And then he leads his team to the playoffs, first playoff win in 4 years, leads 6A. He led 6A in passing yards and passing touchdowns
Come
while throwing
on.
one interception. Like,
Come
it's just
on.
I'm just so proud of him, and I'm really glad to see all the hard work that he's put in uh, turn into this. So I really just am proud of him. We'll talk more about it in the recap for sure.
Absolutely, Jett. I think that was great. I think you have every right to have the emotions that all the emotions that you're feeling right now. I've got them as well. I mean, I remember I almost was afraid after the first time I coached him. I had him running the triple option, and he ends up because he's such a passionate player. And he was I don't know, like you said, fifth grade, or I don't even know how old that is, 11, 12 maybe, if not younger or
Mhm.
older. But he ends up diving at the pylon after a triple option play I told him to run, and he ends up getting injured. And I'm like, oh no, it's my fault because I'm out here having him run the triple option in flag football. You know what I mean? I was like, that's what. No wonder we're the only ones that run triple. So I'm always afraid. But from that kid going through the triple option to where he is today, I mean, I feel like almost like the whole like, oh, they grow up so fast. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah,
with
for
him
sure.
more than like any of this other players, just like crazy. I felt like we were running those practices out there in those WNSL fields like it was yesterday, Jed. You know
Yeah,
what I
me
mean?
too,
And
man.
so,
Me too.
so true to what you said about. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things too, where because you and I, well, really you, of course, but you and I saw kind of the talent. Like, we knew behind the scenes, right? We knew what he was capable of, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, we knew what he was capable of, and we just kept telling everybody, like, just wait. Just trust me on this. Like, it is. You know what I'm saying? Because, sure, my other quarterbacks might be 6'3" and everything with this, like, crazy gunslinger arm, but, like, what you don't understand is, like, I'll take 15 in a heartbeat over any of those guys. You know what I mean? Exactly. And so we were just like, it's there, like, just watch. And so to really, and he's done it all 3 years, but really for this season, to watch him make plays and people turn around to us and be like, wow. And it was like, yes, like that. That was almost like that moment for me where it was like, yes, like that's what I'm talking about, Brewer, to watch him and do that on the biggest stage out there under those beautiful lights in Franklin.
Yep.
All right. Well, again, I feel like if we don't end this episode now, we're going to waste all the material we have for the recap, for the season recap episode. We'll see you there. Keep following us on the socials for when that drops, middle of next week. But again, super proud of the boys. Appreciate y'all and the students coming out tonight. And we will see y'all next week to celebrate these boys and the incredible season that they had.
See you then.